If you never, ever procrastinate, stop watching this video. You don't need it. Go do something else, you rock star, you. But if you're still here and watching, the book I share with you in this video just might change everything. And don't worry, your secret is safe with me. I know what it's like to have a big idea and a big vision and then suddenly find that for some reason you're not taking action. So I love this book. And if that ever happens to you, you will too. But if you're new to this channel, welcome. The Yazzie Media channel here on YouTube is all about preparing you as an expert, an entrepreneur, or a thought leader to share your visionary message in the media, online and off, wherever you go, and most importantly, through who you are and the life that you live. I'm Marie Leroux, the media strategist to visionaries, and I'm here to share with you this month's book for thought leaders. Now, I'm releasing this video on the 1st of November 2024, and I am very, very lucky to be one of the first to get my hands on this new book. It's called The Productive Life Guide: From Procrastination to Productivity, and it's written by a first-time author by the name of Bukeka Mbam. Now, what's interesting about Bukeka is that she does not entirely call herself an expert on productivity. Rather, she is a procrastination survivor. So she's got the goods that people like you, if you're still here, and I really need to keep us on track as thought leaders, as entrepreneurs, as experts, but visionaries who really want to do something and sometimes find ourselves getting off track. Why? Well, because she has been through the same experience. As an experienced professional with a lot of credentials and experience and accolades behind her name, Bukeka found that as she was contemplating a step into the new phase of her career, although she had all the pieces in place, the qualifications, the new training, the motivation, and the ideas, it just wasn't happening. And that was when she sat herself down, had a moment of truth, and really looked into what was at the root of this. What's interesting is that she then used herself as her own guinea pig. Initially, she tells me she wrote the book for herself to get her out of that funk and moving. And now we all get to benefit from the process. Now, if you've come across productivity ideas and tips and tricks and tools and hacks before, I know that I can really get very, very deeply into a productivity system and then find that it doesn't really work for me, or that it's a great idea, but there are still things that undermine me. And then I start procrastinating my productivity hacks. Please let me know in the comments if this has ever happened to you, because you're going to make me feel a whole lot better. So I procrastinate my productivity, right? Or better yet, I use the productivity as a way to procrastinate the thing that I really want to do. And this especially tripped me up when I started trying to use productivity software and especially project management software, where I'd suddenly get into this rabbit hole of mastering a new app that's going to make me super productive, when actually what I needed to do was step back, get perspective, look inside myself, and also think about my systems, because the truth is the tech cannot make the productivity for you. It can only accelerate and empower and take further what you already have in place. It might help you get some ideas, but really it all depends on you. But back to the productivity or the productive life guide. And what's very helpful with the way that this author approaches the subject is that rather than dive into the here's what you need to do and here are all the tips and tools and tricks and hacks, she rather helps you to break down, take a deep look inside, and see what is causing the procrastination. What's at the root of it? And for visionaries like you, this is often where we find the real issue is. Is it perhaps a lack of confidence? Is it uh, an uncertainty? Is it a lack of clarity in what we're going to do? Or is it that we actually need to call in help from someone else? Well, here is a brilliant breakdown. So the book begins with really understanding procrastination and the psychology behind it. Another really helpful point that Bukeka points out is the procrastination triggers that can get us started on procrastination, or as I like to call it, procrastination. But she also helps you to think about the impact that this really has. And let's be honest about this. You've got a big vision, and chances are that your time on this planet is limited. And if you want to get those things happening, the time is now. So really give this a think. And Bukeka frames this beautifully as a way for setting up the backdrop of this entire book. In chapter 2, she starts to begin to look at overcoming procrastination and really looking at those patterns that we have when we procrastinate. Does that ring a bell? The way that she describes her own journey is heartfelt, but it's also really hilarious. I love the humor that she brings to this struggle. And the truth is, when you read the book, you'll understand this is an author who understands the struggle is real. I'm a little bit tired of authors who are so perfect that they never do anything wrong. I really appreciate the honesty that Bukeka Mbam brings to sharing that experience of what it's like to find that you thought you were just going to do that one little thing quickly, and suddenly it's tomorrow. And your dream, your big plan, your big project is still on ice or still waiting for that next step to be taken. So taking strategic action is really what she helps you to do here. I also love the way that she fosters these conditions to help make you more productive. For example, in chapter 2, she speaks about creating an initiative-taking environment. How incredibly cool is that? An initiative-taking environment is one where we really can go and take action, and the habit of procrastination, the triggers are removed. So this is absolutely brilliant. And very importantly, she looks at celebrating progress. And I, for one, am all about celebration. And celebrating those small wins is really very often what gets us moving, especially if we think about the neurochemistry. If you've ever looked into what dopamine does to your brain and how you get that dopamine rush when you check that thing off your checklist and you can finally say that it's done, that gives us a momentum that keeps us going. So it's really like almost an addictive behavior when we procrastinate, and taking action just feels so good. This is how you can make it happen. Now, in chapter 3, she looks at mastering time management and the 5 pillars of time mastery. If you're anything like me, and especially if your brain takes these dodgy moments where you get into a complete flow state and the next thing you know, time is gone, aka time blindness, well, this is the kind of thing that can be really empowering. Now, I'm still hot of reading this book and I haven't put it into practice yet, but I am looking forward to really taking these principles and making them my own. Because what's beautiful about Bukeka's approach is she doesn't say, here's the system, go and use it. She says, make it your own. And that is powerful. She also speaks about clarity, prioritization, scheduling, focus, and review. And that review idea is so important because very easily, and let me know if you've had this experience as well, especially when I'm getting really focused on my productivity, when I don't succeed fully, I berate myself, I feel sorry for myself, I make all kinds of excuses. And rather than going back to review what actually went wrong and what happened, I just kind of sweep it under the rug. Is it just me? Like, please, please, please let me know. I'd feel so redeemed if I know this has happened to you as well. But when I have gone back to review what actually went wrong, I could actually create a plan for the next time it happens. And this really makes it an iterative, recursive, growing organic process. And I love that about this book. Now, Bukeka also talks about using virtual tools and techniques, and that's a smart move because there are so many digital tools that are available to us today. And although the truth is really, we are the ones who rule our own productivity, it may be that there is a digital tool out there that can help. And I've certainly found that things like even as simple as using my Google Calendar, where I can block out time for certain things, create times that are only for one specific thing, or just put that thing that needs doing in my calendar, you know what happens? It gets done. So these are amazing strategies. In chapter 4, she talks about goal setting and she introduces a model for goal setting that I've never come across before. Now, I'm a little bit of a personal development and productivity junkie, so if I haven't found it, well, unless you're a real expert, you probably haven't either. So it's well worth looking into this one. And she then really breaks down this process and helps you to master it. In chapter 5, she speaks about nurturing a growth model. And I think the way that I found this chapter, it really helped me to remind myself that it is a journey and there is an ongoing process. And very often the problem with procrastination is this like a sense of failure. And the growth mindset really gives that a different perspective. I absolutely love that. In chapter 6, the what now questions are answered. And as you come through this process, you might be thinking, okay, well, now I've got this, what happens next? And this is always such an important thing to address in a book because we don't want to be kind of orphaned by our author when we finally finish the book and off we go into the world. The books that really make an impact are the ones that we take tools away from. So Bukeka really equips the reader with these ongoing tools for growth. And I think that is a real asset of the book because it means there's way more once you finish reading it. And then there is balancing work and life. In chapter 7, she really looks into the different aspects of your life. And if you've ever heard me talk about my manifesto for the different elements, the different sectors of life. I love the way that Bukeka's philosophy of really paying attention to all the different parts of our life is so important. And as we think of productivity, really realizing that it's about far, far more than just getting our work done. It's really about getting our work done so that we can have this rich and fulfilling life in all aspects of our lives, and also get those things done that are important for us at a personal level. You know, whether it is that spring clean that's long overdue, or the time that we need to spend with a long lost friend. What are the things that we need to do? Really go look into that. And the book closes with a synopsis, and I think there's so much to take away from the practical, hands-on, versatile, organic philosophy that Bukeka Mbam brings to the Productive Life Guide. Your guide to getting out of procrastination and living a life of productivity. Now, of course, as always, you're going to find the Amazon link to get the book. Right now, at the time of publishing this video, it's on Kindle, so you can read it on your phone anytime and take it with you. And I hear that the paperback edition is coming out shortly, so keep an eye out for that. But what's more productive than actually having your productivity tips right there available on your Kindle app, on your phone, or if you are a Kindle user, on your device. So that is another great productivity tool. And so, would I recommend that you read this book? Well, the Productive Life Guide is not for people who have mastered productivity and time management. It's definitely um, a very comprehensive introduction if you've never looked into this matter before. But if you are finding that you're at a point in your career or in your new plans or in your business where productivity has been an issue, I definitely say this is the book to get you unstuck, moving, and productive, not just with the existing tips and tricks and tools and hacks, but really with that insight and making the productivity your own, really understanding your drivers, understanding what undermines you, and what the reasons are to keep productive. This book, in its very short 74 pages, is so much more than just another quick fix. It really is a thorough guide to doing the work, doing the inner examination, and understanding yourself and making friends with yourself and forgiving yourself for your productivity failures. And then really having this nurturing environment where you create the conditions where you can be more productive. I thoroughly enjoyed this read, and I feel like this is a book that I'm going to keep growing with over time. And even as someone who has done my time in the personal development and productivity and time management world, I think this is a whole new level for me. So, The Productive Life Guide by Bukeka Mbam is available on Amazon now. Get your copy and let me know what you do for productivity in the comments. And if you've got the book, let us know how things are going. Remember to share a link to your Amazon review so we can see how you found the book. Also, if you're on Goodreads, a very, very solid place to go and share your book recommendations, share your insights on the book, and build your thought leadership. That's what we're all about in this series on books for thought leaders. Let me know how it goes, and I look forward to seeing you in our next episode where we're going to be looking at a very strongly related topic. It has everything to do with attention, maintaining your attention and focus, and also what the opposite, the converse, what it is that gets you hooked. But at the same time, how you can get your clients hooked, but take charge of your own time and get people hooked on your message for good. What are the books? Let me give you a sneak peek. We'll be talking about Hooked, the book about how to get different your clients and your users and people who make use of your services absolutely positively addicted to your products and your message and your services. And the converse by the same author, using exactly a deconstruction of these strategies to help make you indistractable. These are two amazing, gorgeous, bright yellow books, and I can't wait to discuss them in our next episode, especially because in the coming month, I'm going to be a guest on the incredible Neurodiverse Generation podcast, hosted by Jenna Evelyn, who is an advocate for neurodiversity awareness. And one of the very core focuses of this podcast is not only neurodiversity, but specifically ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, as it's known, or as it once was known before we got far too distracted to actually say the whole word. And I'll also be joined by Simanye Bekwa, host of the podcast That Matters on that show. So since we'll be talking about attention, what better combination? Keep your eyes open for that post. I'll be sharing a link to it in the description as soon as it's available. And, well, let's have a productive month ahead. See you next month.